Turnbuckle Tapes. I am your host, Liam, and I'm here with my tag team partner, Sean.
What's happening? How we doing today, everybody?
Yeah. Hope y'all are doing good. Had a lot of fun last night at TWF's Fight for Franklin 2 in Stockton, California.
Was quite the fun show. Was quite a great show. Had a interesting time in regards to something you don't see a lot anymore in wrestling. Unintentional blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll definitely have to touch on that. But overall, great night of wrestling. Great turnout. Awesome to help out a cause, helping out the Franklin High School wrestling team, get them some money and keep them funded. So that was a great thing to do last night.
Yeah, it definitely was. I know that David kind of talked about it last time from the first Fight for Franklin, that because of the last Fight for Franklin that they've been able to participate in tournaments every day the past year because of that. So that's super awesome. It seems like TWF is for the children.
TWF for the kids.
Yeah, no, but definitely was a good turnout. It was cool to see all those people there in support, and definitely a hot crowd last night. It was
crowd was entertained. Crowd was having fun. Definitely a raucous atmosphere. Had a turnout of all kinds of just fans, and then local wrestling personalities as well. Like a couple of the students I trained with were there from the Pros Academy. There's a couple of Ugly students there. Ugly himself was there. So there's a bunch of other pro wrestling local dignitaries, if you will. I don't even know that's the proper word. I sound like a rambling idiot right now, but I apologize. But yeah, it was a good crowd. Everyone was lively. It was fun. Show was a great time. Looking forward to another show. Hopefully, Fight for Franklin 3 happens next January, but that's a whole year away. We got a lot of time till that happens.
Oh yeah, a lot of time from now until then. But yeah, what was cool is like when we got there, they had Big Ugly doing like a little session, and kind of it was really interesting to watch that because it was just like everyone that was there was kind of like watching what was going on and kind of getting some tips and tricks and how to move and how to chain wrestle. That was a cool little experience for me, at least personally, because being able to sit in on the sidelines and watch people work and kind of soak in the information that's being put in front of them.
It was awesome to see that. It was definitely cool to just walk in and be like, oh, there's a little session going on, already started, everyone's already working and stuff. It was kind of funny to watch. I won't name someone jump into the session late because they showed up, it wasn't the call time, but they showed up while the mid-session was going, and he gets in and Ugly's like, way to be on time, fucker. And I was like, that's why I didn't jump in. I was late. I'm just gonna watch.
Just learn from the sidelines.
Yeah, but I mean, dude, a lot of awesome stuff learned. They were working that arm drag. It was like a headlock takeover, but it was like an arm drag as well. I don't remember like the joint they were locking. It was really cool to watch though. Ugly's a smart fucking man when it comes to this fucking wrestling game. So awesome to see that education being there.
Definitely. But yeah, let's get into it. So the first match of the night, we had the best looking everything Jason Hastings and the rambling playboy Tripp Rogers versus Paris Singh and Mike Hayashi for the TWF tag team titles.
So for audio listeners right now, I am grasping my head in frustration. This is 2 weeks in a row of best looking everything trying to hide stuff during their matches on me and then try to say I'm a terrible ref. No. Stop hiding things.
What was it? One of them was like a spike of some sort, or like the...
So at CWA, Tripp had the spike, same as he did last night in TWF in his boot. He also had the knucks that Hastings ended up having last night. He had him in his arm pad at CWA. And then Hastings keeps trying to like maneuver the freaking knucks around his body so I can't see it. Commissioner Ray, who looks like Vince McMahon in 1999, fucking power struts over and he's like, look there. And I'm like, Ray, I don't see anything. I'm not trying to play the blind gimmick stuff right now. I'm trying to be a legit shooter ref. I don't see anything, Ray. No, look, I have to lean through the ropes and see this thing and reach into his singlet. he's probably going to cancel me. I'm probably going to get Me Too'd. I touched him, and he's like, "Oh, Sean, you're done. You signed a contract for me to check you, and you had the nuts."
You agreed to the terms, but if I can't play devil's advocate, they were in Stockton. It can't get hairy out there, so you need to have the protection.
Not in the wrestling ring.
I would say more so in the wrestling ring, maybe.
I mean, I don't know. This is a signed sporting contest. Contracts were signed. Payouts were given. Someone was so generous enough to split their payout and give half the work to somebody. We'll get into that in a little bit. It was awesome to see someone actually do that with half their payout. That was very nice.
Yeah. But yeah, it was that was a good starting match. I gotta say, from my time watching Paris grow into the dude that he is now, like, he has definitely started to get over with the crowd. Like, the dude's just got like a lot of charisma. He's definitely got a presence.
I feel like he's starting to believe in himself more. He's starting to be like, not that I can do this, but like I'm pretty damn good at this.
Yeah.
Like I am Paris Singh. I am the All-American. America, fuck yeah. Got on my back, brother. My shoulders are wide and my JanSport is deep. Let's go for America. I'm gonna wrestle off this place. Yeah, he's getting real good. He's getting very confident. He's getting into his stride and his rhythm, and it's showing a lot that his work's paying off.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I mean, especially when you have Mike Hayashi back and you as your tag team partner, like, I can understand having that bout of confidence, like, rise up.
Yeah, you got I don't know. Hayashi's been in the game for probably at least a decade, maybe even multiple at this point. I'm not sure. But you have that knowledge tree that's just giving him the confidence to get through them. And it's great to see the veteran and the rookie holding down the tag team division, being the tag team champions. Just all of that wealth and knowledge is helping Paris, and Paris is able to be like, I'm the young blue chipper. When you need me, brother, I've got you.
Yeah, for sure. Couple of pretty good spots in there. If I remember, Paris was trying to get the fall away slam going.
Yeah, he got it. Hastings. He got it barely, but he got it, man. I was like, oh my God. I thought they were both going to die for a second.
Yeah, but yeah, it was good to see them actually walk away with the victory and continue on with their championship reign against the BLE. Yep. Unfortunately, even though I'm a BLE mark, as you know, real recognizes real. When you're as good looking as they are, it's hard not to root for them. But you know, same thing. In the same breath, I gotta say, you know, Paris and Hayashi, you know, they definitely deserve their flowers as well.
I am conflicted with Mr. Tripp Rogers.
Are you?
I have up until last weekend at CWA and this weekend at TWF. It's not a onesie gang. I've always been in support of it's not a onesie. But then he slapped me at CWA trying to get disqualified. And he pulls these weapon shenanigans again at TWF. I'm not so sure if it's a onesie or not anymore. I'm starting to have doubts. I'm conflicted at this point.
I like to say it's a European leotard.
I used to say it's professional wrestling attire, but I don't know now.
It's having you question your whole reality.
It is. I don't know. I don't know what is up or down, black, white, left, right. I'm lost. I don't know what's over the horizon at this point, and I'm scared.
Oh man. And then and then we'll move on to our second match between Giga Herrera versus the human highlight reel Landon Ramos. This is actually going to be a rematch from their previous meeting at Modesto Madness, which was a no DQ hardcore. It wasn't a hardcore match, but I know it was a no DQ if I remember correctly.
I think it was just no DQ, if I remember correctly as well. Definitely Giga coming out with the chip on his shoulder because He was the TWF Television Champion at the time when he beat Landon. He's like, hey, I just beat your new number one contender. Why is this guy getting the shot? No, I'm here to prove I should be getting the shot. The number one contendership wasn't on the line, or number one contendership wasn't even on the line. But if Giga, happened to back his word up, it definitely would have made, a case to make Giga the number one contender at that point.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, especially with that last match that I had with Landon, like he just literally ragdolled Landon and like all over the place in the crowd. And like from that match, yeah, dude, like just fucking just got a beat down. And like one of the things that I remember from Modesto Madness was Giga like launching Landon into the chairs and like, oh my God, that match was fucking brutal. But yeah, another banger match. And like Giga's another one of those dudes that I've noticed has started kind of finding his stride as well with this character, and kind of starting to like chisel himself out into like who he is now. The match that he had with Assassino at Wreck the Halls, like that was honestly one of the better matches of the night. Like every match on that card was really good, but just that one like stood out to me the most. Like the pacing was really good, and I know we're talking about like older matches here, but this one, with what happened last time at Modesto Madness, Landon came up with the win on this one, and really excited for Landon. Super happy for him. I mean, the dude's been around for a long time, and I think he's gunning for the championship.
TWF legend gunning for the championship is definitely what's going on here. The point of a referee, one of the points of a referee involved in matches is to keep the boys safe. I was a little worried when Landon did the I want to say it's like the springboard into the moonsault off the top. He flattened out his legs and then flipped back under the moonsault. The ceiling was so low that when he flipped back, I thought his head was going to kick his knee. And I was like, oh, cool. But he was able to rotate just fine and land just fine. But like on initial view, and I was like, oh, God, this looks terrible. I'm like ready to run.
Yeah, so we'll see what's in store for Landon here coming up. Hopefully he gets a contendership match for the TWF championship.
He beat Drake at Wreck the Halls to be the number one contender. I believe the idea is to have that happen at Rio, but I do have to check with Commissioner Ray and the booking committee at that point. But I do believe that was the original idea. We'll get into more about what may be going on with that later as we review the show.
Yeah, because it does seem like they kind of have a lot of chess pieces moving, if you will, like going on right now.
The game is playing itself out interesting to basically, or the game is playing itself out in an interesting way, to say the least.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then moving on to the third match of the night, we have the main event: Michael Shawn versus Sean Sims from the Bike Club. That was a good one. I really I've only seen Sean Sims in a couple of matches, but the dude definitely is a lot of fun to watch, and I think both him and Michael Shawn like are able to work well together, and they put on a fucking clinic.
Sean Sims is a monster. He is what is advertised. He's big. He's scary. He will destroy you. He will take you out. He's here to win and beat ass, and the man's awesome. Bike Club and 209 Click have been feuding throughout different promotions for a long time now. It's not surprising to see that carry over to TWF. I mean, if I remember correctly, in Avery, it was last time I was in Avery, at least. It was Sean Sims and I can't recall his partner against the 209 Click in just a barroom brawl, and it was just nuts. I unfortunately can't. It may have been Devin Danger.
I was gonna say it might have been Devin.
Yeah, I think it was the Dread Pirate Danger. That sounds right. I can't recall. I vividly remember being Popcorn Mike. I vividly remember seeing Sean Sims. Yeah, it was Devin because Tony wasn't there. So yeah, it was Devin.
Okay. But yeah, the what match was it that they had, the 209 Click versus the Bike Club at Colonial? Was that one at, I think that was at Summerfest, wasn't it?
It was at the Summerfest, that big old brawl where they just went all over the place.
Yeah,
and then crazy. That's got the Vargas and Big MF dog collar match from last December as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I wish I would have saw that match, man, because like,
bloody.
Oh my, yeah, that's I hear Freeman telling the story about it, like how they're like, oh, why is the building shaking? And it's like, oh, Matt and Tony are fighting in a dog collar match, and it's like, oh yeah, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was nuts. They beat the dog piss out of each other. It was just so bloody, and I had to run out and get involved, and referee showed why he's now the commissioner at the end of that match. So
he's at the top.
He's at the top. No chance. He looked straight up like Vince McMahon last night. Had the referee tie on though. Like, I recognize my roots, but he's got to get that strut down.
No, he's definitely got to get the strut down. Like that shit was so funny. Like, but yeah, the match between Michael and Sean, Sean got over on Sean.
See, this is why I'm glad I didn't referee this match. Sean beat Sean with Sean as the referee.
Which Sean comes out on top.
With so many Seans.
It's got to be like the Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, Michael Sean defeated Sean Sims. I unfortunately was in the back getting ready for my next assignment. I was on referee duties, which I'll have an interesting story when I walk out into my next assignment when we go into that part. But I didn't catch much of this match. When I did catch a little bit, I saw Sims trying to put Michael Sean into the Sister Abigail into his finish. So I was like, oh crap, we're going. But I was like, I got someone to the back. I was like, oh, I gotta go.
Yeah, I think he eventually landed the Sister Abigail, if I'm not mistaken, and then I think that was what wrapped up the match. Yeah, like it's. I will say for me filming, it's kind of hard for me to pay attention to what's going on because like I'm so focused on trying to focus on angles and making sure everything's looking good for the future recording. But
same here. I'm in the middle of like trying to remember things for this, but at the same time I'm like, oh, I'm in the middle of doing this job as well that I have to perform.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely a relatable thing in regards to recapping something we're involved in.
But yeah, I mean I like what I see though, because it's like it is very it's very intriguing. Like there is like good story. It's not just a bunch of spots. Like there actually is like narrative wise and like story wise, like there is something palpable, and it's
right.
So it's engaging. It's especially when you have so much going on, and then trying to remember details, it kind of gets fuzzy. I would, if I had my pen and paper, I could like take notes while I'm like recording, but
right. A little bit of different story.
Yeah. But yeah, moving on to the fourth match of the night, we had Boss Blacker. Jesus, I can never say this. Boss Blacker. Versus Operativo 209, and I gotta say, Operativo is a big man.
That is a big dude. That man is very big. I feel like his shoulders is as big as my head.
Like just like palm my head and just lift me up. But yeah, this is at least for me, this is my first time seeing Operativo. Really enjoyed watching him, and the same thing with Boss Blacker. He's always fun to watch, and notice that Boss is definitely the one move. I think it was called the stage dive. I like that. I really like that. It's just
the flip when they're draped over the second rope.
Yeah, just giant ass fucking cannonball, essentially. Just
so, two things on that. One, last week in CWA, he got a holy shit chant out of that.
Nice.
Two, one of my biggest favorite things in wrestling has always been, for lack of a better term, heavier people doing flips. I don't care if you're 300 pounds and in shape or 300 pounds and fat, quote unquote, you do a flip, I'm popping. I'm like, yeah.
No, it's like, I mean, it's kind of like a callback to like Bam Bam Bigelow and the other Vader.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like, no, it's always fun to see those big dudes being athletic and mobile, and not just like the powerhouse that's like indestructible.
Yeah, the typical plotting, I'm just going to walk you down and be stronger than you.
Yeah.
I like the athletic big man, for lack of a better term.
Oh, yeah. Well, and speaking of athletic big men, so this match ended up in a no contest.
Here we go.
Huge. Oh, my God. I think I would say that this was like the pop of the night, in my opinion. But we had the Samoan Reaper come out and just start beating the shit out of Boss, and basically just started wrecking shop in ring to the point where he basically had a bunch of security guards come out and just took out the whole fucking security guard team. And then on top of that, like, busts a fucking huge splash from the top rope, and like kind of what you were saying about Landon, like I was almost expecting him to like go through the roof and then come back out the other side.
There's no room. There's no room up there from the top rope to the ceiling. There's no room at all.
No, not at all. And like Zeke's like fucking, God, that dude's like 6'2", like just massive.
6'3". He's got to be 230, 240, maybe even more. Massive dude. Dude has a look. Dude looks like a star. Pop of the night, like you said. Oh, man, just massacred. Like, no one stood a chance. Security guards laid to waste. Blackguard laid the waste. Operativo, I didn't see what happened to him. All of a sudden, his body was disappeared. So I'm assuming he got laid to waste, too.
Nobody survived that one.
No one survived, and that's a scary prospect right there. The Dragon's Den's got this beast of a trainee kid that they got coming out of there, and he put the entire roster on notice by just wrecking people.
Yeah. No, and like even when one of the times that I was out there filming for Freeman, just kind of like watching him train and like his intensity even during training, it was just like, holy shit. Like, I know I've said it a couple of times on this show, but this dude has definitely got like a lot of potential. And I think seeing that last night kind of solidified that for me, that this dude definitely has like a lot of, he has a trajectory that's going somewhere.
Oh, absolutely. The first time I met him was up at Hard Rock Cafe. We did a show up there at one of the taco festivals, and they did a student battle royal. And he whipped himself so hard into the ropes, he busted the turnbuckle out, and the rope popped out. There's no top rope for part of this battle royal.
Oh my God.
Like, you can see me, I'm trying to film, but at the same time trying to fix the turnbuckle. So like, I'm like, oh, it's the worst shot ever. But his presence, camera was drawn to him.
Oh yeah.
Out of everybody else in there was 10 students in there. Camera was on him. His presence was just amazing.
Yeah, for sure. And I think he has, and I know Matt mentioned it when I was doing the filming with him this last time, that he's going to be having a match with Tony Vargas up at the Mystic Saloon up in Avery. I think that's in March.
Yeah, that's sometime in March. Yeah, that's a crazy match then.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to try to make it out to that Avery show. That would be my first Avery show.
Oh, dude, that place is awesome.
Yeah. It looks I always love like small venues, like intimate kind of things like that, at least going to concerts and stuff. So I feel like something similar along the lines of that would be as enjoyable.
I honestly prefer when they put the ring on the outside at that venue rather than the inside.
Oh, really?
Out of the 3 shows I've done up there, 2 of the 3 were inside and 1 was outside. The outside one was just way more fun. It's still intimate either way. Just, it felt, I don't know, having the whole town just chilling outside with you during a wrestling show was cool as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see that card unfold. I know that right now they have they've announced Flacco versus Perry Papaya.
Yep.
so far. So that I think that one's going to be shaping up to be a good one.
That'll be a fun in the hills.
Cool. Yeah, and then what was that?
Cool little venue.
Yeah. Nah, but the one thing that from kind of going back to Zeke's interference, like I remember seeing him after the end of the show, dude had like two fucking cotton bunches like up his nose, like dude fucking just I think that just shows his intensity. I don't even think
he's just throwing with no regard. He's looking to make a statement in this business. On that topic, coming out for the next match, I'm refereeing the next match, and a couple people in the front row are like ref, and they point, and there's just blood all over the floor. And I was like, I hadn't seen what happened yet. I didn't know who bled yet. I saw, like, when I went to talk to Jake and tell him about it, I look over behind the curtain and I see him. I was like, oh, okay. But I was just like, hey, someone's got to come get this blood, and I'm in the ring. Please help.
You got to clean up on aisle 3.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Oh, it was bad.
Oh man. But yeah, moving on from the Aperitivo and Boss match, we have Christian Black versus the Maverick Jay Cruz. And
Jay Cruz is over. Holy God.
Yeah, he is. Oh yeah. I mean, how can you not be like you fucking look like Tom Cruise, dude? Like that I feel like it's almost like the genetic lottery in regards to like handed, like, you know, it's like, oh, here you go. Now you have something to play off of or, you know, lean into, and like, by God, does he fucking do it.
So like, yeah, he's like those presidential impersonators that just like pull it off so well, but oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. He does it right into the danger zone. Just dripping of his father. Just it's wonderful.
Well, I'm glad that he didn't get the Tom Cruise center tooth from those genetics.
That's accurate statement.
Just my 2 cents on that one. But yeah, I want to say that I like this new evolution of Christian. Definitely a little bit more menacing. As opposed, you know, coming out like, although the Miley Cyrus Party in the USA entrance is always fun, like it definitely has a little bit more legs, I guess, if you will. But I remember one of the matches, I think it was with DJ. I think it might have been at the last one that they did in Stockton. Fucking those clothesline from the hoods, good lord. Just folded fucking DJ in half, unfortunately.
Throws him. And the party's over now for Christian Black. Party in the USA is gone.
Yeah, no.
Party's over. He was definitely aggressive last night. He tried to get a little handsy with me.
Yeah, I saw that. He was kept on trying to come up to you and then like questioning like what you were doing while you were pulling him off, but he can't, like, it's just.
He kept pulling the hair. I kept warning him, told him he's gonna get disqualified. He does that. He kept poking the eye. I kept warning him, told him he's gonna get disqualified. He does that. Started to touch me. Told him if he punches the line again, he will be disqualified. I had to pull the ref shirt up, man. I don't try to be that aggressive, but he made me be that aggressive.
Fucking, you got to lay down the law, Sean.
I had to.
That's right. Fucking stand on business.
I had my black Air Forces on, right? So we were standing on business.
Standing on business with style.
Always.
But yeah, but Jay Cruz won that match.
Jay Cruz won. Jay Cruz got the victory. Christian was a little too cocky with himself in regards to how he conducted his actions in the match, breaking up his own pin by stopping my count. Didn't really pay off for him in the end, as Jay Cruz got the victory.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of the one thing that I've noticed with Christian too, is like that arrogance has kind of caused him to lose, because he's done that in another match where he's like just 1-2, like pulls him up and just kind of toying with him, like playing with his food essentially. And it's just like, dude, like fucking commit.
He used to be smart about it. He used to use that as a saving tactic, but now he's using it as a arrogant tactic. And I don't know if that's going to work out for him really in the long run, being that arrogant. You didn't get yourself to the pay window last night, brother.
No, definitely not. But hopefully, moving forward, he's a little bit kind of dials back that arrogance, because I think he's got the intensity, but it's just, sometimes arrogance gets in the way. And,
definitely arrogance is the way. Oh, speaking of the pay window, I wanted to mention shout out to Johnny George last night, giving half his pay and half his work to Jolene. Splitting the payday and the load, getting somebody new on the team for the announce crew is pretty good. So good job. Way to be a team player, donating half the pay. So good job, Johnny George.
Shout out to Johnny. Yeah, I know that she's been filling in on a couple ones. I know that she did Wreck the Halls. Like, she did a really good job. I like her. My feeling is with announcing, like, you have to have that charisma, like, because you got to get people hyped up, for the match. So if you got to have a certain gravitas, if you will, to make those announcements and get people excited for the match, the matches that are coming up. You gotta be okay with projecting, and you gotta be okay with people looking at you. Yeah,
because you are the focus for a couple minutes. Everyone's looking and listening at you until someone else comes out that curtain.
Yep. So shout out to Jolene and shout out to Johnny. I talked to Johnny for a little bit last night. That dude's been announcing for, I think he said, since like 2017, if I remember correctly, for like TWF, and then even longer, like in other promotions.
He's been in the wrestling game for quite some time, so he's been around for a long time. That's announcing for quite some time. He's got multiple hats in the wrestling game, and he knows what he's doing. Shout out to Johnny George.
Shout out to the Dope MC.
Dope MC.
The Dope MC. Yes, sir. But yeah, and then so at the beginning of the night, we had Assassino come out and thanking everyone for coming out for Franklin and showing up for the wrestling team. And then CJ and Boat came out to interrupt and talk a little bit of trash. Lucha Libre Mafia and 209 Click, they're definitely familiar with one another. They're no strangers. They're not strangers.
No strangers.
And then the Flacco comes out, and they have a mystery third tag partner. Hasn't been announced yet. Even when we interviewed David last episode, he didn't even
know. Yeah.
And then Flacco comes out and basically bestows a late Christmas gift to David, and Flacco announced that their third tag partner was holy shit, the name is I'm drawing a blank on the name. Jesus Cruz. Yeah, and so Jesus Cruz comes out, empty Modelo bottle in hand, had chases CJ and Boat out, and chucks the fucking beer bottle at them. It's like, that was a hell of a way to start off that whole show. That was a lot of fun. And so earlier, what's that?
It set the tone for what was going to happen in that. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was a crazy match. It just, I'll touch more on that as we get more into the match. But yeah, so earlier in the night, I think it was shortly after that, Ray comes out and kind of acknowledges that there's a lot of animosity going on. So the only way to settle it is in a Stockton Street Fight. Yep. And oh man, that was the right decision. That's all I can say, because it was a very enjoyable match, even though it was fucking pure chaos. All six of them going at it and trying to, at least for me, trying to film, like, it was like, go over, okay, spot, do, like, watch a little bit over here, go over here, these two are fighting, and then it's just like trying to get all the fucking madness.
It's difficult as a production to capture that kind of a brawl that can just go anywhere. And when you have a stationary camera, you have a couple roving cameras, but when the brawl gets out of the way of all three cameras, what do you do at that point? You're like, oh my god, you're trying to get one rover to go over, and the brawl behind you, the rover that's running now better, and you're like, oh, I gotta go back over here. You just get lost in the chaos.
Yeah,
so,
definitely got my steps in last night filming that one.
Definitely a chaotic match.
Definitely was. And I was actually the win from Assassino pinning CJ was kind of surprising, to be honest. Yeah. And especially now, since CJ just won the title at Wreck the Halls, like now it's like, okay, well now is Assassino going to be gunning for the TWF championship after he just won the TV title? Then he could be damn 3 belts.
Damn, 3 belts could happen. He's already got 1 in CWA, could have 2 here in TWF. Definitely interesting situation around the TWF championship. CJ Dirt has multiple contenders that have justifiable shots for him. Landon Ramos winning that #1 contendership at Wreck the Halls, and then now Assassino having a pinfall victory over him, clean pinfall victory over him in the middle of the ring. Yep. 2 contenders having justifiable reasons for their title matches.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then let's not forget that there has, at least in my opinion, there have been hints with Michael Shawn. I feel like there's something that's kind of insidiously growing there in the background. So it's like, it's kind of interesting to see how this is gonna kind of like all.
The 209 click is okay, is what he tells me.
That's what he says.
The 209 click is fine. 209 click is okay. That's what he always tells me.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, because you could say one thing, but actions say another.
Actions speak louder than words, but he's at least insistent that the 209 click is fine.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see. I mean, we got Rio Mania coming up here in about what, like 3 months?
Yeah, and that's going to be in April. Got the February show, and I cannot pronounce the name of that town.
Tuolumne.
Tuolumne, thank you. I do apologize about that.
I know last night we were like trying to pronounce it. It was
dude,
Tuolumne.
I'm like, if I go up there and say that, they're just gonna murder me. Be like, just get out of our town. Just leave. Turn around now.
Off is the direction you can fuck.
Yeah, exactly. You can kindly fuck right off, sir. And then we got in March, there's the
Shamrock Showdown.
And then Big MF show, which it has implications. A lot of the Dragon's Den students and a lot of the current champions in TWF train out of the Dragon's Den. So that being a Big MF Dragon's Den show, there's probably going to be some implications in regards to what's going on with the TWF title scene and just the overall scene going into Rio Mania.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be picking up in the next couple of months, I feel like, and I for one am really excited to see how things kind of unfold, just because it's been really engaging as of late with the past couple shows, and everything has been firing on all cylinders, it seems.
Shows are going good, towns are going hot every time. It's a fun time to be a wrestling fan.
It is, and I'm really glad to be a part of it. It's been an interesting journey, and I was mentioning to you last night how just from the little bit of time that I've spent in the wrestling community, that wrestling culture has a very interesting. I don't know what the word is for it, but it's very. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the word for this, but the wrestling culture is really interesting. Like, the one thing is like, I know, the shake hands and, introduce yourself to everybody. And it's built on, I feel like it's built on a lot of respect because, what you're doing.
Exactly. It's exactly what it is. People may not even like each other, but they'll, understand that we're there to put on a show and we need to safely take care of each other while we do this. So it's a matter of respect in regards to that. People may love each other and then still get crazy hurt.
Yeah.
That's just the aspect of what we do. But the shaking of the hand shows you respect the individual. They're doing the same thing as you. You know you can get hurt. You know they can get hurt. You're there to take care of each other.
Yeah.
It's a big reason why the handshake's not even supposed to be really tight either. You're supposed to be very light.
That I did not know.
Yeah, it's this to show that you're not a tighter handshake would typically represent like more of an aggressive thing or something like that. More of the light handshake shows I'm probably gonna be more safe with you. Weird, like we said, cultures, weird stuff.
Yeah, just because, I mean, at least just, kind of dive on the handshake a little bit more, because at least like I've always been taught, not pertaining to wrestling, but just like handshakes in general, like firm handshakes, it's just kind of like it's like a weird.
So have you seen the episode of King of the Hill where Hank meets, I want to say it's George W. Bush, and he shakes his hand. He's like, "Oh, the handshake was limp." Oh.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Just devastated that the dude's handshake was just. Oh, there was no toughness in the handshake, Peggy. Oh, he's just world crushed. Like, it's like that. That's the wrestler's handshake. Like, Hank Hill would be like, "What in the blue hell is this bullshit?"
But yeah, I mean, I didn't know that as far as like with the, I don't want to say limp handshake, but soft handshake.
Soft handshake, yes.
But I guess I that makes sense though, because I guess when you kind of frame it in that perspective, but I'll have to remember that one for next time.
There's like a psychological aspect to it too, and I remember this in like business studies, like firm handshake, assert dominance. You like at the beginning of the meeting, yeah. Like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah. No, and another thing too, and I'm pretty sure this is like pretty obvious, but it's like it's a boys' club essentially, like, but and I don't know, because what I feel like it's wrestling is a thing for men to let their inner whatever out. I don't want to say ego out, but I guess
you're not far off.
Yeah,
it's imagination.
It's like letting your imagination running wild. You're letting your get a break away from your mundane Monday through Friday, and
correct.
Just be yourself and fuck shit up.
I get to be this silly character 25, 30 minutes, and people are paying to watch this silly character do some silly shit.
Yeah.
Now, you weren't far off with egos, because they're in tales where, like, I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to do that, when, does it really matter?
Yeah. I mean, like, certain things I can understand being apprehensive on doing, but it's...
Understood. No, I'm not. I'm just more like... That doesn't work for me, brother. Over silly things. Over very silly things. Like, who cares?
No, I can get that. And it's, I think you got to give a little to, I think it's a give and take thing, obviously.
The whole thing is give and take. Peel the curtain back a little bit. I want squash matches back in indie wrestling. I want double DQs. I want double countouts. Yeah. I miss that old school Saturday morning quick match to extend the storyline fucking match.
Yeah, no, and I think that's always like a good thing. Like I think it should be like the story first, and because it's like how else are you going to get people engaged if the story isn't like the first thing that comes to mind? Because it's like, one of the things that I hear a lot of people complaining about AEW, it's like it's a spot fest, and there really isn't any story. And like the prime example that I think of was like that whole thing that they were doing with MJF and Adam Cole for a fucking year with the devil thing, and now all of a sudden MJF's like heel and Adam Cole's babyface, but it's like, but you just spent the other year like with it flipped. The biggest way I can describe AEW is Tony Khan doesn't know what universe save he booted up this week. Yeah.
And then he just books. And he doesn't remember what he did in this universe mode. He's like, oh, what'd I do last night? Oh, who cares? You go.
Have at it.
Who do I have available? Who's going to make Meltzer cream his pants? All right, you go.
Oh, 5 stars. Oh, it would have.
Hey, if it's in the Tokyo Dome, would have been 6.5.
If only it was in the Tokyo Dome, I would have given this 100 stars. The all-time greatest match. Yeah, just it's silly as shit. Like, you know, like and the thing that sucks though is like a lot of those dudes in AEW have talent, but it's just like it's clear that it's just kind of like a sporadic thing.
Okay, so my biggest complaint with mainstream wrestling over the last 10 years, and so this is dating before AEW, they have the most talented roster in regards to athletics, promos, just checking all of the boxes they've ever had.
Yeah.
I couldn't give a shit.
Yeah. It is.
The production, it's the storytelling is either, you know, before Triple H took over, crazy sporadic, and now it's, I don't know, it's hit and miss. And then AEW is, like I said, what universe mode did I boot up this week?
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like even with how Triple H has been booking, it seems like there is like a semblance of like coherence with storyline, like leaving little Easter eggs like from months past and like breadcrumbs to get there. And then, you know, it's like if you're paying attention, there is kind of more of a payoff to, you know, whatever match that they get into. And it's like it doesn't. Not all of them have to be fucking bangers. Like
no,
you know?
nothing, dude. Not everything has to be the craziest thing. It's okay to have a generic match. It's okay to quote unquote just do the basics.
Yeah.
Oh crap.
Well, and that's the thing. Like basics work. Like, you know, then from basics you build off of that. And you know, if you don't have a solid foundation, you can't build on top of that.
I mean, generic rock is popular for a reason.
Yeah, that is true. Fucking, I don't know. Like recently for me, like as much as I love The Rock as a wrestler, I'm kind of at a point with him that I've seen him so much that I'm just like,
oh, I'm sorry, I meant generic rock music. I should have.
Oh my! I thought you were talking about. But no, same thing. I'd say generic rock music is. Ugh.
Like just like, you know, generic rock, generic pop stuff's popular for a reason. Basic shit.
Yeah, 4-chord progression. Just,
exactly.
Just verse, chorus, bridge, outro.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't know.
Maybe catch the line between the two bridges.
Yeah, we're gonna have a Dwayne Johnson rock group. That's one thing he hasn't crossed into. Oh man. But
calls it the if you smells.
With their lead hit. Drinking and getting a DUI.
Dude, yeah, what? Netflix premiere. Your board members drinking and driving.
Dude, I lost my shit when I was watching that. I was like, of course he's got his Terramata, and then like next time you see him, he's like driving off in his truck. Smells like The Rock's cooking a DUI.
Dude, I was so glad not to watch that live because my +10 button was getting a workout. I was like, +10. No commercials, +10.
Oh, man. But yeah, it's I like we kind of touched on earlier, you know, talking about you know, the next couple of months for TWF. Looking forward to it. I think they've kind of have everything in really cool position to move everything forward, and then you know, see where we go from here. And then also they what is it, next month there's the Blacklist show out in, is that one in Los Banos, or where's that one? Fresno, that's right. My bad.
The Jason Hastings and Danhausen match.
Yeah, that's cool though. Like that one's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, we're gonna make that a trip, buddy. We probably won't be recording an episode that week then because we'll be on location.
Yeah,
we'll have to figure something out for that week. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, we could probably do some like, you know, like clips and whatnot.
Yeah.
And we'll figure something out, but I'm looking forward to that. When when Kyle was still on the show, we went down to a Blacklist show down in, that one was in Los Banos. I can't remember where it was at because the venue got moved. Like there's like a whole story about it where it was at a billiards place. I can't remember the name of it, but we get there. We were unaware that the venue changed. So when we arrived, they had a sign. They're like, "Oh, the show's been moved to, I think it's called like Smokey Joe's or something like that." And then we get to Smokey Joe's, and it's like that was a cool little spot. Like, kind of felt like the Avery venue. Like you're pretty much like right there on the side of the ring. And yeah, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Go to my second Blacklist show. Gonna have Danhausen there, so it should be.
It's gonna be a great night. It's gonna be a fun show.
Yeah. And but yeah, and you're reffing the Hastings and Danhausen.
I am going to be your referee for the Jason Hastings and Danhausen match. Yes, I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, no, that's exciting, man. That's I'm really excited for that match. And then
it's gonna be a ton of fun.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who else they have advertised for that one. I know that they had Tripp on there. Who else?
Ace, Tripp, Harshaw. I can't remember who else offhand.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll see what happens at that one.
I think Nasty Nash is on the poster too. I don't remember offhand.
Yeah, I think Nash was on there. Yeah, that's gonna be a fucking banger. And that's cool.
Be a fun show.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it because I haven't been able to it's at the Full Circle Brewery. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. That's one brewery I've wanted to go to as well. So that'll be multiple things to check off on my box.
Check off the list. Nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I've wanted to go to Fresno shows, but it's like, I don't know, because where I live, I'm kind of like in the middle of both of them. So every show that I go to is already like a long drive, and gas ain't cheap right now.
No, gas ain't cheap.
But yeah. But
what are you doing? Oh, okay, he's fine. My dog just started to move. I was like, what are you doing over there?
Hans will just be chilling back though.
Yeah, he's just chilling, doing his dog thing. Yeah. There was something I wanted to touch on from last night, but I don't remember. We talked about the blood thing. We talked about Zeke. Oh, yeah, we talked about Zeke's pop. Dude, smelled like Goldberg.
Definitely.
Like, I got Goldberg vibes. That's like he just murdered everybody. He's gonna murder. Drazzle Dazzle better start running. Like, those guys are done. Oh my God, they are done. I see you two trying to give him sodas to say apologetic things for what happened at the MF show. You guys just keep running. He's got your number, boys.
Got you locked in the sights.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. That one, his match with fucking Tony Vargas, I think that one's going to be I think that's going to really elevate him regardless of the outcome, just because like I know Tony Vargas is a bad motherfucker and like the dude's just a wrecking shop, so it'll be like two kaijus fucking going at it essentially.
As much as I enjoy this Goldberg and the Samoan Reaper, Vargas is my trainer. It's gonna be very hard for me to stay impartial during this match, Liam.
I can understand that.
Very hard to stay impartial.
But I believe with your integrity, you're gonna call it right down the line.
I'm not here to have I will report right down the middle.
Oh man, but yeah, no, it's gonna be a fun springtime. It's gonna be a sick summer. So
got it.
But
2, 3, 4 shows lined up now. Math, I can math. Yeah, 4 shows.
4 shows, shit.
Yeah. 4 shows lined up for TWF. Well, that's kind of the big MF show up in Avery.
Yeah.
So it's hot.
Do you ref for East Bay Pro Wrestling as well, or do you just normally do
I have not refed for East Bay Pro Wrestling. So far in my wrestling career, I will list the promotions I have refed for. I have refed for Lucha Extreme / Ugly, because I've got the bookings for both of them, so I kind of consider them the same. I've refed for Next Level Pro Wrestling. That's where I train, the Pro Wrestling Academy. I ref for TWF. I clearly go way back history with them, back to my high school graduation project being Rio Mania 1. CWA, I got the booking through working shows at TWF Next Level, getting to know Hastings and Tripp, and then same at Blacklist, but getting to know Harshaw.
Yeah.
So 5 promotions since I came back into the scene.
Damn. So you stay? Yeah, I imagine you stay pretty busy doing like the reffing and stuff like that.
I typically work. I like to do myself. This is because I believe life is balance. I like to do 2 to 3 shows a month on Saturdays and have one weekend where I don't have a show. I may pick up some multiple Sunday shows and stuff or some Friday night shows, but typically most of the shows are on Saturdays. So I end up doing Saturday, have one Saturday off.
There you go. Yeah, definitely got to have balance because, you got to have some time for yourself.
Time for myself, time for grandma, especially come the fall, the spring and fall time, she'll want to start doing garage sales and yard sales. And I'm like, I can't be going to these shows trying to set this up for my 87-year-old grandma. I got to be out here making sure people don't steal from her out here. Like, $5 for that tea kettle, bitch.
Got to play the enforcer for grandma.
I kind of do. No, I don't want anybody taking advantage of my 87-year-old grandma. Hell no. Nah, she's going to have her yard sale, and I'm going to be here to make sure it's good.
Yeah.
Wrestling, I'll see you next weekend.
Shit. But yeah, last night was a lot of fun. I always have fun at the TWF shows, and, I'm glad to get to experience that with you. And I think I don't know if we've touched on it, or at least if I've said it on the show. I'm glad you're here and glad I get to talk about something that we're both passionate about, both love and
Oh, dude, thanks for letting me in on the gig. This is entertaining. This is fun. I'm enjoying it. I definitely like to talk about the scene. It's interesting being involved in it, having the background, and then having you as the opposite side, as the media end. We definitely have this yin and yang balance now, so that makes a great little combo contrast, or a synchronicity. I'm struggling with English. Sean, can you speak? I'm struggling with English right now.
I'm picking what you're putting down.
Yeah. But I actually wanted to pick your brain a little bit more about the training session earlier in the day that you were able to watch, because you've trained a little bit. What was your experience watching all that? Watching all the guys go through those drills of the hammerlocks and getting out of the holds and chain wrestling and stuff like that?
Well, I think it's really interesting, especially with the little bit of training that I've gotten from the Dragon's Den, is that you really don't need to do much in order to kind of get the crowd into it. It's kind of keep things simple and make sure it's visible. But I really like the idea of chain wrestling, because you could do flashiness without having to be excessive.
Right.
And I know Big Ugly kind of touched on it while he was doing the lecture, but it was you have your opponent in a precarious situation with their arm or their head or something like that, and he's like, you better fucking sell for me, motherfucker, or I'll make you sell for me. So it's kind of touching on what we were talking about earlier about that mutual respect between in ring. I don't know. I really want to get more into it. I really would like to start training more, and just really kind of push myself. And watching it, kind of being able to sit on it, it kind of inspired me to want to do it more. Because the training I've done, it's like once a week, and it's different having like a whole seminar with other people and like doing drills, because the training that I've done has only been very, it's like doing lockups, kind of learning the very like 101 basics of, how to do a headlock, where your feet positioning is. So I don't know. It's like, I think watching that session, it made me want to commit myself more to like the training aspect of it without giving away too much. Kyle and I, we had a lot of talking about what we were going to do with Turnbuckle Tapes, and we were doing some tinkering and stuff like that. So it was, unfortunate that he did this, wanted to go do other things, and that's life. It is what it is.
Life. People change courses.
Yeah, and that's okay. But I still want to do this. Like when I wanted to start this podcast, like it was how far can I go with, not necessarily with the podcast, but with wrestling in general, because like I started off as a mark, and then now that I started coming into the scene more, like it's I still kind of have I'm still kind of a mark. I'm not gonna I think using mark as like a derogatory term is kind of goofy, because it's like we're all marks to a certain degree. Like that's what all got us in wrestling. But I get it though, because it's like when you're in the business, it is definitely different. Like, because it's like if you're busy like marking out for somebody else, well, are you marking out for yourself?
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I don't know if I'm making sense. I feel like I'm just rambling, but nobody's like, that's the thing, like with wrestling, like if you don't mark out for yourself, who else is gonna
That's
do
it. That's it. Who's gonna do it for you if you don't?
Yeah, so it's like you gotta have that ego to a certain degree in order to.
To a certain degree, yes.
So
you also have to be able to be humble and be like, you're doing the job tonight.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, but I mean, I don't know. It's different, because it's like with my time in the music scene, like when I was making music and stuff, it's it's very common for bands and the musicians to have other musicians that they look up to and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's not saying that wrestling doesn't have that, but I've noticed that it's kind of like a different aspect. It's a different approach to it.
Wrestling totally has that.
But
wrestling totally has that. Like everyone's inspired by 3 or 4 different guys. Like the stuff I'm doing, like I was working on a short arm clothesline because I was watching a ton of Jake the Snake Roberts fucking tapes. I do this thing where I run, drape my leg, do the drape leg over the middle rope, and then I hit the ropes again, slide out, and slap them while they're draped over the rope, because I saw Big Boss Man do that, and I was like, I'm gonna start doing that. So I just fucking, it's all inspirations.
No, it is. Yeah. But yeah, it was. But yeah, like I just really love the sport. I think, and I've said it like numerous times on this podcast, that wrestling is probably the most unique thing that at least for me, I have experienced.
It's crazy unique. Yeah.
And there's nothing like it. And I'm just glad to fucking be here and be exposed to it now.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, think we'll probably wrap it up here.
Yeah, a little bit of a shorter episode this week, because we just really have the recap. We've kind of gone into no guest this week, so kind of just shorter episode, which is nothing wrong with that, but just is a shorter episode this week. I mean, like that's the nature of covering things. We covered the news.
Yeah, pretty much. Gave you the what's what and the who's who this week.
Exactly.
But yeah, definitely. Thank you for listening. If you made it this far, we really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Love you guys. Appreciate the support. If do some plugs here, we go check out ProWrestlingPlus.tv, $15 a month. And I noticed I actually saw that they have like the 150 for a year deal. I think I'm probably gonna take advantage of that.
It's a good deal.
Yeah, watch all the old TWF matches. And And I know that we've talked about it before. Probably do some like old recaps of the old shows and stuff like that, and watch-alongs.
We could recap them, or Mystery Science Theater 3000 them.
It'd be a lot of fun.
That'd be fun.
But yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you again. Yeah, we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Yes, thank you. I'll see y'all next week.
Peace out.